You know, we all play different parts in our lives, but have you ever really stopped to think about why? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on our social selves and dive into this really fascinating idea that all the world is, in fact, a stage.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. The you that shows up for a big job interview is probably, well, a lot different from the you who's just kicking back with your best friends on a Friday night, right? It feels like we're constantly switching characters. And believe it or not, this isn't just a feeling. It's actually a core idea in sociology, all thanks to one brilliant thinker.
So that sociologist's name was Irving Goffman, and his big idea is called Dramaturgical Theory. And it's pretty simple at its core. He suggested that our social lives are basically one giant theater performance. We're the actors, and our main job is to manage the impression we're making on everyone else. It's such a simple metaphor, but trust me, once you see it, you will start noticing it absolutely everywhere.
Okay, so if the world's a stage, what are the rules? How does this performance actually work? Let's break down the basic elements of this whole social play.
So, in Goffman's world, you are the actor. Your main goal? To look competent, to fit in, and maybe most importantly, to avoid total embarrassment. And everyone you interact with, they're your audience. And that audience really shapes your performance. Just think about how you tell a funny story to your parents versus how you tell that exact same story to your friends. See? You, the actor, are adjusting for your audience. Now, this is where the theory gets even more interesting. It's not just about the performance, it's about where it happens. Goffman split our social world into two key areas, the front stage and the backstage. The front stage is basically anywhere you feel like you are on. It's your public-facing self. You know, like a teacher commanding a classroom, a doctor speaking very professionally with a patient, or even just you being polite to the cashier at the grocery store. You're following the social rules, your behavior is controlled, and you know people are watching. It really is like being on camera.
But let's be real, nobody can be on all the time. That's where the backstage comes in. It's your private space, your social dressing room. This is where you can finally let that performance go and just relax. It's the teacher's lounge after class, or the kitchen in a restaurant where the staff can vent about a rude customer. It's where we let our guard down and get ready for our next entrance onto the front stage.
So, to sum it all up, it's pretty simple. Front stage is public, it's a performance, it's controlled. Backstage is private, it's for preparation, it's relaxed. You're basically on camera versus off camera. And we are constantly bouncing between these two zones all day, every single day. So, if we're all actors, then what's in our toolkit? I mean, how do we actually make our performances believable? Let's take a look. Okay, so the heart of everything is this idea of impression management. This is that constant and often totally unconscious effort we make to seem competent, moral, and, just generally normal to other people. And to pull that off, we use a few key tools: our costumes, our props, the setting we're in, and even the scripts we follow. And you can see how this works in real life so clearly. Our costume, like a doctor's white lab coat, it signals their role instantly, right? Our props, like carrying a laptop into a meeting, make our performance as a professional way more convincing. The setting itself, a formal courtroom versus a chill cafe, tells us exactly how we're supposed to behave. And we all follow these little social scripts, like when you say, "How are you?" without really expecting a long, detailed answer. And here's the thing, we rarely perform alone. A lot of the time we work in what Goffman called teams. Think about a family putting on a happy, perfect face for holiday guests, or the entire staff at a restaurant working together to create that seamless dining experience. That's a team performance. And the absolute key is that everyone has to stay in character, because if just one person slips up, the whole illusion can just fall apart. Now, you might be thinking this theory is from a while ago, but let me tell you, it has never been more relevant. So how does this all play out in our super modern digital world? Well, just look at social media. It is the ultimate front stage. Curating that perfect Instagram post is a masterclass in impression management. You take, a dozen photos? Then you pick the absolute best one, you slap a filter on it, and then you spend way too long writing that perfect, witty caption. You are presenting a carefully crafted, highly edited version of yourself for your digital audience, all while keeping the messy, backstage reality completely out of the picture. Okay, let's pause for a second. Hearing all of this, it might make you feel a little cynical. I mean, does this theory just mean that we're all being manipulative and totally inauthentic all the time? And you know what? That is a very fair question. But Goffman had a really powerful answer to this. He argued that it's not about being fake. It's actually about social cooperation.
These performances are kind of like the invisible rules that allow society to function smoothly. It's how we show respect, maintain order, and just make our interactions predictable and comfortable for everyone involved. So ultimately, this theory is just a really powerful lens for looking at our social world. It explains why we code switch, change how we speak and act when we're with different groups of people. It shows us how reputations are carefully built and how they can be destroyed in an instant. And it explains why a failed performance, that horrible feeling of public embarrassment, feels so intensely awful.
In the end, what dramaturgical theory really suggests is that your self isn't one single solid thing. Your identity is more like a collection of all the roles you play. You're not just playing one character in this giant theater of life, you are, in fact, an entire cast of characters. And so, that leaves us with a final thought to take with you. As you go about the rest of your day, just start paying attention to the different stages you step onto and the different audiences you meet. And ask yourself, which role will you play next?